duh. Like you take wins where you can. You shouldn't put all of your eggs into the electoralism basket. That's what a lot of people do. That's what people say when they're like, "Oh, vote." It's like that doesn't fix anything. Exactly. And so, do I support progressives? Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? Like, I know like a lot of people are getting like super turned off all the way, but like I'll take wins where I can get them.
Exactly.
Like with Cori Bush, love her. I cannot wait to see what she does in Congress with Rashida Tlaib. Like
as a Missourian, I'm really
thought.
about that.
Exactly. Like, you want to see these wins. We have corporatists losing seats. But at the same time, if you're not doing things outside of electoral politics, then you're not doing anything, because elections are only every 2 years. So it's,
And the incremental change that's achieved through these elections just
it's not enough.
What we need to address the massive problems that we're having right now. I mean, I still haven't even heard any of these people talking about vote for Biden. What are you going to do if you're worried this fascist? You always say Trump's a fascist, Trump a fascist. Then you should be prepared for if Biden wins for him to not leave. If you actually think he's a fascist, you need to be prepared for that. And I want to know what your strategies are, like leadership. What is your plan?
Hashtag.
Ask him to resign.
Finished.
Ask him to resign. He'll just leave.
Jennifer Rubin is the biggest guy. But no, it's you're right. Like, do I think Trump is a fascist? I think he wants to be sometimes, but I think he's just like, he likes the attention. I don't think he's nearly as dangerous as like Mike Pence is. I said that yesterday. Like, I harped on that. Like, Mike Pence is way more dangerous than Trump could ever be. But, if Biden loses in November, which he might, like, I literally don't know, but I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, I mean, like, if Biden does win, that is a good question. Like, is Trump going to be like, oh, the mail-in ballots? He will. He's going to talk about the same thing he said with Hillary, where he was like, oh, they had 3 million, illegal immigrants, whatever the fuck his tweet was. It was like, oh, they had them vote in California. That's the only reason why she won the popular vote. It's like, oh my God, dude, shut up. Like, please, you're in your 70s.
Yeah, so I have a unique take on the whole Biden equals a fascist thing, and I've been preaching this, and I want people to realize this, because you realize that the whole Trump is a fascist thing, whether it's true or not, I lean more towards it being true. It's just a Democratic Party talking point, and the reason why I say that, because they enable Trump every step of the way. If you have a fascist in the White House, you don't vote to increase his executive power. You don't vote to increase his military budget. Now, once again, I'm not going to get mad at them for calling him a fascist, because a lot of that is true. Now, let's dive into why that is true, though. And now this is a theme that I always want to touch on. I want people to realize that there is a permanent state that dictate a lot of what the executive branch does. For example, Trump ran as an anti-imperialist. He ran on being anti-war. And a lot of people think he was bullshitting. I don't think Trump is bullshitting, because Trump actually has, if you look at his stance when you talk about the Iraq war and foreign policy as a whole, he has a history showing that he actually has anti-imperialist views. But Donald Trump drone strike more people in the first year than Barack Obama did in his 8 years as president. So what happened? You get in office and you realize that as president, you're not exactly the boss. You're not exactly the boss.
Not at all. Not even close.
You got military-industrial complex. You got military generals that tell you what to do. And this is how I know that's a fact. When George Bush took office, he set records over bombing. He beat Bill Clinton. And then Barack Obama took office, and he ran as an anti-imperialist as well. He did the unspeakable. He broke George Bush's record in terms of
10
bombing.
times the drone strikes.
And then Trump comes in and does the unspeakable once again. He outbombs Barack Obama. So what is happening here? To me, I think that's a clear indication of that this is the influence of the permanent state. Mm-hmm. So if you want to say that Donald Trump is a fascist, take the next logical leap that you need, right? The next logical leap, if Trump is a fascist, and if you understand that Trump is working on behalf of the permanent state, that means what? That means we must live in a fascist state. So instead of saying that we must vote against Trump because he's a fascist, I say we must destroy the two-party duopoly because if you're a fascist enabler, what Nancy Pelosi is and Joe Biden is, they're fascists too. And if Joe Biden gets into the office, he's gonna follow the same. He'll follow the same permanent state directive that Trump is following. And you see, for example, there is a reason why Joe Biden was very, very silent when Donald Trump started using the Department of Homeland Security as his personal militia.
Yep.
Because he plans on doing it too.
Yeah.
So when I say that Trump is a fascist and Biden a fascist, I'm looking at the definition of fascist. I actually looked at the definition. Kind of like, all right, I don't want any partisan actors to try to influence how I think about this. And fascism is defined as authoritarianism, nationalism, and it gotta have elements of forcible oppression of your opposition. So we have a trial.
We literally live in a fascist state. That's what we have.
Exactly. We got a trial going on right now that have bipartisan support against Julian Assange.
Yep.
Who Julian Assange? He's the opposition of the government. Once again, I go back to the definition of fascism. The definition of fascism is forcible oppression of the opposition. So if you support if you support them going after Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, you are literally by definition a fascist. So I remember I changed my handle for this for one day. I remember I said Joe Biden is a fascist. Ask me why. I had it up there for one day, and I planned on keeping it longer. But I had so many people message me, and I kept explaining this, and every time I explained to someone, they were like, "Oh, damn, you're right." But I took it off my handle because now I'm tired of typing this shit out. I'm gonna make a video so I gotta see. But that's how I feel about that, and that's why I'm not tolerant of we gotta have an anti-fascist vote. And I talked to my friend Kayla on Twitter about this yesterday when they were going after her, and I came to the conclusion. We both came to the conclusion that I think a lot of liberals, they think fascism is only fascism when it happens to white people. Like, because when black people, we've been living under a fascist state for how long? God knows how long. I will argue that the drug war. Go ahead, Savi. It's Savi or Savi. I won't even read it.
A comrade of mine said, and I really like her phrasing in this, that it's not necessarily harm reduction, but it's shifting harm. Like it's harm, it's just shifting it. And I thought that was like a really great way to explain it. Like you're not really reducing harm. That harm is just going to be somewhere where you can look away and not see it anymore.
Yeah, Biden's already saber rattling in more than, I've seen both Venezuela and Syria. He's going to start more wars.
It is actually scary. And it can be difficult because, we are all obviously extremely political people in all different ways. So, we see it all day, and we see, we're tuned in all day, and it can be really difficult to not get that, super doomer feeling of, what matters anymore, nothing matters anymore. And, especially when, all day I spend it seeing people, because something that does really hurt, and I have been working on, is when I see people call Biden a healing candidate, right? I'm sure we've all seen that. Or it's same thing with Obama. They're like, oh, I miss Obama, blah, blah, whatever. So I served 3 years under Obama and 3 years under Trump when I was in the military. So I saw literally both sides of how the military was ran under each, and it didn't change. It was both absolutely awful. And I deployed under Obama 2015, 2016. And so with the things that we saw and the things that I know we've done as a country, but even just personally seeing that, it makes me sick to my stomach when I see people praising Obama or the tan suit thing or any of that stuff. It's if for what we did to Yemen, if liberals and I would bring it up and liberals will literally say it's a conspiracy theory, and I'm no, I literally was there. I was literally there. We had a blockade set up, starving Yemen, while Saudi Arabia was coming from the north, pushing them out of their fucking countries. And you guys think this is and we were literally a blockade between there and Somalia. You have to be evil to sign this. I remember us getting our executive order to do this on deployment, right? I remember seeing it and me being a fucking dumbass. I was oh, that's crazy. Obama signed this piece of paper. What? I look back, I would have beat my own ass, honestly, if I like met myself a couple years ago.
Yeah, and that's one of the
But
things that's that radicalized me against the Democratic Party, and that's why I'm so ruthless against liberals because I can lead in with my own personal story. The last time I ever voted for the lesser of two evils was in 2012. And once again, I'm very vocal about that story. How I wanted Obama to be Mitt Romney, even though I knew that Obama was a very problematic figure at that point. So I voted for Obama in 2012, and I witnessed the rest of his administration. And then throughout the course of his administration, every time I read a story about a wedding being drone striked or something like that, I felt complicit. Like it felt gross, and I hated it. And that one big part of the reason why I was in denial on exactly how evil he was. And I turned against the liberal class